This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
So, CPA meeting for August 10th. Thank you all for agreeing to change the time to this meeting. We have first on our agenda is, first of all, Jamie, please record who's in attendance right now. We have 8 members.
Scott just left the meeting, so
okay.
Scott just left. I assume he'll be back, but
he was here. Okay. I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of March 23rd, 23, please. Jay?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes from March 23rd and May 25th.
No, let's just do one at a time because there's different attendance. So March 23rd, please.
All right, so March 23rd.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Jamie, you have to do a roll call. Jamie, did you hear me? You have to do a roll call. You're muted, Jamie.
Yep. I hit unmute. I didn't actually hit unmute. Okay, sorry. Andy.
Aye.
Dan.
Aye.
Greg.
Aye.
Jay.
Aye.
Jessica's absent. Joe.
I'll just abstain since I wasn't here.
John.
Aye.
Ken.
Aye.
And Scott.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, that approves those minutes. I'll need a motion to approve the minutes of May 25th, 23.
A motion to approve the minutes from May 25th.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Jamie?
Let's try again. Andy.
Sorry, aye.
Dan.
Aye.
Greg.
Abstain.
Jay.
Aye.
Jess is absent. Joe.
Yes. Aye.
John.
Aye.
Ken.
Aye.
And Scott.
Aye.
Thank you. We have anybody from the public? I see John Mason, but I don't have anybody else. So I'm going to move on. Jamie, do you have any communication or correspondence you'd like to pass on?
The only thing, and you probably all saw this because I think you get the CPA newsletter, but the state did not include the $30 million in the budget for the state match. There'll still be an opportunity at the end of the current fiscal year to deal with budget surpluses, assuming there is one.
We didn't budget that anyway, right?
Well, it affects what we put into our budget because we assumed, I think, a 25% first round match and a 25% second round match. We don't really put the second round match into the budget, so we should be okay. But I'll keep an eye on it.
Okay. I'm going to share the screen for account balances. Does everybody see this?
Yep.
Okay, just so that we know how much money we have, because we are being asked to support $400,000 appropriation this evening. We have the $120,000 in open space, which will be part of the application you see at the top of the screen here. And we do have undesignated $1,140,000 here. Okay. We have set asides for the Old Town Hall And we have set aside the, up here, you'll see the affordable housing. We voted and the council approved this last time. So affordable housing has $890,000, almost $891,000 in it. And just to remind everybody, that can only be used for affordable housing. Undesignated can be used for any of our 3 areas. So I just wanted to let everybody know where we are on that. Does anybody have any questions? I can't see the screen, so if you do, just. Okay. So first up on our agenda is Parks and Rec's Nonotuck Pool. Now, just for a matter of procedure, I want to vote on this evening. They have a construction deadline, and I think we can do that because this isn't the first time they've been before us. We've already approved $190,000. It was thought at the time of that approval, and John could explain this more, that perhaps this $400,000 could be gotten from other sources, but the mayor and John feel that this has to come from the CPA if it's going to happen at all. Given the infrastructure issues in the city, I can understand why the mayor wants to maintain her capital stabilization account, et cetera. So that's where we're at. I'm going to share the screen for the budget. John, you want to start?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
This is the application. You go ahead and talk, John.
Sure. So through this process, we looked at getting other sources of funding, including applied for a federal land water conservation fund grant, which was not awarded for this project for a few reasons. The timing of it, the park grant requires all work to be completed by June 1 of 2024. And the federal grant of Land Water Conservation Fund was probably not going to be releasing funds until the end of 23, beginning of 24, would just put us too much of a time crunch. We are looking at, I met with our pool contractors last week. We are looking at a September 1 start, thereabouts. They're ready to roll on this project, and they know there's stipulations in there regarding fines for not completing this work on time. So we want to move hand in hand with them on getting this work done. So after conversations with the mayor regarding other funding sources, the use of CPA for recreational purposes, and especially how, two things with the pool this year, how important the pool was to folks and how many people utilized it. But secondly, the amount of repairs and maintenance and issues that we had with the pool, to keep it going this season was above and beyond what the staff should be expected to do. It was nights, weekends, just basically that thing's been 24/7 babysitting to keep it open for the public this year. So you've seen this project, you've seen the numbers. We're doing our best to make sure if there's anything in-house we can do for affordability, we're going to do that. Phase 2 bid docs, I met with Mike Owens today, and we're going to get those out in the next couple of weeks. The mayor has expressed that once free cash is certified, we'll look at that for phase 2, which could be around 300 or a little bit, maybe a little more for that part of the project. So that's where we're at with this. It's kind of, I wish these conversations happened earlier, and we'd be in a better spot, wouldn't be such a rush. But this is where we're at, and that's the project, and it's been utilized. That's for sure. Everybody loves the pool.
All right, John, I have a big question. You want to start constructing September 1st. This can't be approved until September 20th at the earliest. And that's the second council meeting. Mike,
So we
going to
have-
allow that when you don't have the money in place?
We have money in place, earmarked. It's a logistical thing within the city. But basically there's a placeholder for money, and then this would cover that because we won't have any out-of-pocket expenses on this project until late fall. November
And that's
1st.
money you have set aside for that. Okay.
Yeah, there's a placeholder for the total project. The mayor just does not want to use that placeholder money. She wants the CPA recreational funds to go towards a recreational project.
So this, okay, what is, I don't, refresh my memory, municipal free cash, that was already approved? I have it on the screen here.
So that was not already approved. The overall project was already approved by city council. The municipal free cash was, when I updated the budget for this meeting tonight, I put that as a placeholder for potential dollars. As you can see, I got the phase 2 estimate at 300, but free cash I have 400 within the city. So I'd rather go higher and then get less, but I just want to make sure the mayor and other people saw that there's a placeholder for 400 for free cash.
Okay, so this would be paying this.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. So I can't see anybody, Jamie, the way this is working. I can only see the budget. So if people have questions, would you call on them? Members, do you have any questions?
I actually have a question. Where does the park grant come from?
That's a state grant.
That's a state grant, and it was applied for and given to us.
Yes, that's already been received.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else, Jamie?
Doesn't look like anyone. I did have a question, John. When I was looking at the cover page to the application versus the budget page, you had a difference in the total cost. One was on the cover page, it's 1.2 million, but then on the budget.
Oh yeah, that was the original. That was the original cover page estimate, and then I did the revised cost estimates based on the pool bid, actual pool bid, and then phase 2 estimate. So you're right. That should be 1,397,479.76.
Okay, that's the number that I put in the draft funding agreement.
Okay.
So-
Okay, that's where it has to be accurate. This is just his application. He's applying for the 400. So good, Jamie. Good catch.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure I got it right.
Yep.
In the agreement. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions? Greg.
So, I'm sorry, just to, maybe this was supposed to be clear, but I'm still a little bit unclear on the balance here, the municipal free cash. It's just, that's just a placeholder for future funding from the city that is undetermined yet. Is that right?
Yes. So the bid docs have not gone out for that. That's just a placeholder for worst case scenario. We're hoping at 300, but worst case scenario with costs and even the pool numbers were much higher than we originally estimated with our consultant.
So in other words, the 300,000 for phase 2 is going to come from free cash.
From free cash.
And you put 407 there that you might have to ask if the bids come in higher than you estimate.
Exactly. Yep.
300. Okay.
Yep. That's why it's higher on that number.
Do you understand? Does that make sense, Greg?
So if the bids come in high for phase one, will you have enough? I guess I'm trying to.
Phase one's already awarded. That's the 936. That's the main pool construction. Phase two is the fencing, the shade structures around it, some ADA pathways. So that's a much smaller piece of the overall puzzle. And I worked with our consultant on that phase two number because some things seemed really, especially like we've done some recent purchases within our own department, and their estimates were way higher than what we actually just paid for some things. So I had them take it completely out, and we would supply that stuff in house. So we're trying to do as much with the money that's available, and anything we can do to save money or cut costs, we will without jeopardizing the entire project.
So if I'm reading this correctly, you've got 590 already funded from the park grant and the CPA, and what we've already given from the CPA. An additional 400 will put you at 990, and that would cover phase one and design actual. Is that how I'm reading this?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Gotcha. All right.
I do have the original design, the nice PDF picture design, if anybody wants to see it again. It was done in June of last year. That's when that was submitted. I think it's very important that the CPA support this project. Again, as John mentioned, the pool is a huge issue. We haven't had it for 3 years. I don't know how long, pandemic, and then there was problems with it. And I know for a fact that he's had to paste it together. They had to rush to find a filter pump or something, delayed opening the pool for a while.
A pump and filter, a motor, and the motor we've actually replaced twice.
So obviously, I don't think they can go another year without getting this pool done. I don't think we'll have any issues with the city council, John, but there's no guarantee about government. So this would be put into the council on the September, it was a second meeting. And on September 20th, I will set a public hearing for it to be approved, the 400,000.
Yep. Just to get on the lifeguard situation, we actually had more lifeguards work for us, and we actually had more apply that we didn't accept. This year was, I think once people saw the momentum with the pool, we had and not only enough staff, but the quality of staff that we had for the pool this year. I really want to say it publicly that they are an outstanding group of lifeguards, and it was great to have them at our pool, and we're hoping that this redesign will continue to attract the quality lifeguards for our facility.
Did Willis Northampton give us an incentive, or
Yes.
the lifeguards an incentive to stay all year?
Yep.
And that worked out well?
That worked out really well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so they get an end of the year. If they worked full time for us for the year, they get a $500 bonus at the end. And that was courtesy of Williston. Williston also provided the facility for us to do lifeguard training, awesome. to get folks trained in town and staying with us. So yes, that was, we did a lot of legwork to make sure we had enough lifeguards for sure this year.
John, one quick question. The free cash, is that something the mayor has committed that amount, or 300,000, or are you just stating there's that much free cash? And was this marked for the pool?
I have an email commitment from her on that. Once the certain amount is not not the 3 or 4 or whatever amount is not in there, but once free cash she knows around $300,000 is what's expected out of free cash. Yes. And she has written me an
We
email
expect that
saying she's
certified in
understanding
November. We expect that certified in November, so. And that's in time for your phase 2 anyway, right?
that. Yes. Yeah. That's why we're kind of slowed on the bid release.
Okay. Any other questions? Scott?
This isn't a question, but I just wanted to add, just because I'm a big fan of the pool and I've enjoyed it this summer, so it's been awesome to have it back. That I've read a couple things lately about talking about public access to public swimming as a climate change issue and climate resiliency. That things that cities can do to show resiliency with climate change. And so just to add that to the narrative, depending on who you're talking to, could be helpful, because I think that it really is. I mean, as it gets hotter, it's to be able to have a place in town to swim is really important. So
That's a great point, John. Or
Great
Scott.
point, Scott.
Anything else, guys? Then I would like a motion to approve $400,000 from open space and the undesignated fund for the Park and Recreation pool renovation.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Seeing none, Jamie?
1 second. Andy,
I gotta think about it. No, I'm kidding. I'm good.
He's a Park and Rec guy.
Dan,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Jay,
Aye.
Joe,
Yes.
John,
Aye.
Ken,
Aye.
and Scott.
aye.
So 8-0, motion is approved. So timing wise, John, this will go before the council on the 1st. Jamie promises she'll get all the paperwork done for that. You'll be sending out the agreement, which is boilerplate agreement, Jamie, for DocuSign or whatever we're using now to sign, right?
Yeah, and mostly just copies the same agreement language that was previously agreed to. It just updates the funding to the 1.397 and this 400,000 as opposed to other city funds, ARPA funds, or whatever was originally planning to be used.
Okay.
Thank you.
And this will be taken up by the Finance Committee right after the January 2nd meeting, September 2nd. I think it's September 2nd. I don't remember. It may not be the 20th. Anyway, the second, how come I'm echoing? Second meeting in September should finish the appropriation. Anybody else have anything else for this evening? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Somebody
Second.
second. Motion to adjourn. Jamie?
Andy,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Jay,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Ken,
Aye.
and Scott.
Aye.
Thank you all. Next meeting is September 21st.
September 21st.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.